The Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., had a lot to say after meeting with leaders yesterday of food companies. Kennedy posted great discussions today with the CEOs on advancing food and safety, radical transparency to protect the health of all Americans, especially our children. Interesting, because some of the companies he met with, he'd already publicly called out previously. The Consumer Brands Association president wrote this in a statement after that meeting. It was a constructive conversation, and we look forward to continued engagement to support public health, build consumer trust, and promote consumer choice, end quote. RFK Jr. also talked with Sean Hannity over the weekend.
We are poisoning ourselves. And it's coming from, principally these ultra-processed foods. There are studies coming out of Stanford and Harvard that show a lot of mental illness, including anxiety and depression, are related to food. And that changing your diet, food is medicine. By changing your diet, you can lose some of those diagnoses. People should be able to make their own choices. If you want to eat a donut or seed oils, you should be able to. You should be able to exercise informed choice. We want to do everything that we can to incentivize these companies to be transparent, to switch over from ultra-processed food, and to be part of this movement to make America healthy again.
Dr. Marc Siegel, Fox News senior medical analyst and professor of medicine at NYU Langone Health. Are Americans addicted to certain foods because of what's in them?
There's no question about that, because ultra-processed foods, Harris, are made to taste a certain way and to stay on the store shelves longer. And they draw you in both by their outrageous color that looks like they're from outer space in terms of children's cereals. And it was interesting that some of the makers of these breakfast cereals were at this meeting. And then once you're drawn in, they've got taste, high fructose corn syrup. It's something you want more and more of, and it's also known as empty calories. And as RFK Jr. said to Hannity, and I know this perked up your ears because we talk about this on the show all the time, it leads to mental health issues because food is medicine, and you're actually giving food as medicine that affects mental health.
That is so critical. You and I have also talked about the weight issues that we have with so many Americans in this country and how that also can deepen the depression. So this is a vicious cycle if what you're eating is also, you're getting addicted to it.
Yeah, and the obesity epidemic is something I'm paying particular attention to because it lands people in my office with high blood pressure, with heart disease, with cancer, with diabetes directly linked to obesity. And I talk about real prevention going on before you ever get to the doctor's office. When I interviewed Bobby Kennedy, he said,
wait, hold it. Let me pause you right there, because we're going to run out of time. And I've got that interview, some of it. So let's watch it. Here's Doc Siegel and RFK Jr. Watch.
We have 10,000 food ingredients in our country that are illegal in Europe. We have a system in our country that's unlike any in the world, so that manufacturers of many of these ultra-processed foods are selling one product in our country that is loaded with chemicals, and another product, the same product in Canada, that has only a few ingredients. And that's not acceptable, and we are going to make sure that Americans know what they're eating.
Fascinating interview. Kennedy is targeting, let's put it up on the big wall, food additives, artificial dyes, inflammatory seed oils, and so much more. Talk to us about it.
Well, in terms of the seed oils, we've talked about olive oil and avocado oil being healthy, but things like peanut oil and canola oil actually have inflammatories in them. It's all about inflammation. What are you doing to your body? Are you increasing inflammation, which increases your risks of the diseases I mentioned, and cancer and ADHD, or are you decreasing inflammation like omega-3 fatty acids do? The other thing that I want to point out quickly about Kennedy is he's talking about transparency here and choices based on knowledge. He's not talking about superimposed regulations necessarily.
Right. Yeah, and that's a key part. He said people should be able to make their own informed choices. I caught it. Again, great interview. Doc Siegel, thank you.